Good day, guys. I hope that you are well. Sorry, I'm very new to this. My name is Renier Jansen van Rensburg. I'm based in Nigel, Gauteng. I work at a new beverage manufacturing plant in Irene, Pretoria. We are two companies on site. One that was existent, and then the new development side is a completely brand new company. I'm the head of logistics for both companies. A need was identified of a compliance officer on site, and even though originally this task was awarded to the financial director, it has become apparent that the constraints did not allow for sufficient focus on this topic. This task was handed down to me, and I was formally appointed on the 1st of September as compliance information officer. I've never done any of this, and even though I thought I had a vague idea of what had to be done, it has now become clear that I had no clue, no clue at all. Since the 1st of September, I've implemented policies and procedures to start a compliance framework. I think I've done an excess of 100 documents to see if we can mitigate, whatever has to be done. But I've enrolled for this program, and it took a while for it to start. So in the meantime, I didn't want to just leave it, So I tried to develop something. Areas included, amongst other, would be the health and safety department, quality, production, HR, and then general. I will share the list of, if that's right, I'll share the list of policies implemented and procedures and controls on the group discussion as well. The biggest challenge that I've faced is change management. I also did not have the self-confidence to challenge other department heads because I did not have the educational background or the qualification to put up a valid argument for this. I actually hope that this course would give me the skills to enforce the necessary changes, because I just see risk everywhere now. My view on compliance. Compliance, in my opinion, is risk, all forms of risk on all different levels. I would like to use my specific employment scenario to explain where potential risk, completely hypothetical, can arise in the workplace. Therefore, thereafter I'll provide a general statement on compliance. Please keep in mind that we are two FMCG companies with 230 employees on site. For instance, the human resource department, an uneducated or unqualified HR officer or manager might not follow the standards set by the BCEA, the Basic Conditions of Employment Act. Let's say an employee has been rightfully taken to a disciplinary hearing, but he did not receive his hearing notice 48 hours in advance in order to prepare. The dismissal will take place, and if the employee approaches the CCMA, even though he was proven guilty, he will be awarded 12 months salary or reinstatement because the prescribed regulations were not followed. We did not comply with the legislation. The production facility. There are requirements that are governed by the FSSC and ISO. So let's take the possible scenario that a proper full CIP was not done or not done properly. CIP is the cleaning of the pipe system. It usually involves a hot water, caustic, and acid wash. So that prevents bacterial growth like listeriosis. The production will continue, and an issue might only be realized after running days worth of production. This would require the isolation and destruction of millions of rands worth of product, which could easily have been prevented if the proper protocols were followed, because we did not comply with good manufacturing practices. Quality department. Our quality department is governed by the FSSC, which is the Food Safety System Certifications Board. Continuing with the scenario above, if the proper lab checks were not done, and if it was found that the product was unsafe for human consumption, or if it was not found, the product might have been distributed throughout the country. People could have ended up in hospital, or it might even have died. This would rightfully have led to millions of rands in lawsuits or company closure because we did not comply with the regulations of the FSSC. Maintenance. Continuing with the hypothetical scenario above, let's say a new employee has been appointed in the maintenance department. He has not been briefed on food safety. There's a breakdown on the production line. He has run out of lubricant, and in a complete spur of the moment initiative, he drives to the nearest hardware store to get grease. The grease is not food safe. He applies it to the production line. The grease makes it into the finished goods product. Our quality checks cannot detect chemicals until tasted, physically tasted. This means, again, there would have been hundreds of thousands of rands in product produced before this would have been picked up. This could have been prevented if the proper compliance essentials protocols were implemented and maintained, especially maintained, because if there's nobody to watch it, it's like basically like the laws of the road. If there's nobody to enforce those rules, then nobody is going to maintain them. In my view, compliance is a global essential. It's the identification of potential risk in any area, the mitigation of the identified risk by the creation and implementation of measures and controls which would either remove the risk in its entirety or control the possible outcome. The most important aspect would always be human lives, the environment and financial loss aspects. I also think that it's exactly why the compliance function has to be an independent function, and even though this person might report to the governing body of the company, the actual obligation is enormous and the function will be responsible for the well-being of the governing body as well. What do you think the company should do if the compliance function is equally corrupt? I feel in this scenario the corruption should be reported to the highest authority on site or governing body. If the problem is bigger and it includes the governing body, there are channels to follow depending on what the corruption entails. Regulating bodies include the information regulator, for instance, where data is misused, the SAPS for criminal issues, OSHA for health and safety instances, or the FSSC for food safety related issues. For each department, there's an external company who would would be completely removed from the situation, and then they'll be able to do an audit on the company. It's also essential to have a whistleblower policy and channel for individuals to be able to report on matters as these without exposing their job safety. So that's me. Thanks, guys.